Hey there, and welcome to Factorio Space Age. My name is Brune, and in the last episode we had hooked up the scrap and started kind of getting everything rolling here so we can kind of figure out problems. And I kind of saw all of these robots just hanging out here and was thinking that, oh man, we're going to need to use these circuits. But I will admit that the previous episode was at the very end of my recording session, and I was on about the eighth, ninth hour of playing at that point, and my brain was a little melted. But I think I don't need these. What I do need is recycling, okay? Because I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh man, I don't want them, to be in a position where this gets full like this. And so I want to prevent that, but obviously, as you see, this thing just stops it from working. And so we're going to undo these. Oh. I'm gonna undo all those, let everything kind of go. And my plan sorry, I thought I just muted myself because I had to sneeze. The plan is to add in some recycling of this stuff, the processing, the breaking down. And once I get a lot of that infrastructure done over here and kind of this area above, I will then go back out and start putting out more miners. That way, every time I kind of come back after putting out a new mine, I should be able to inspect, like, okay, this part's bottlenecking, and we need more of this recycling, or what have you. So I think I'll start by, I don't think there's any construction bots over here. I think it's just my bots. But I think I want to start by just taking out all this unnecessary stuff. Giving myself a little space through here. And we'll start with whatever, if they're backing up. We have gears being the very first thing. So we have a blueprint here. Gotta kind of refresh myself with this again, because it's been a few days since I was able to record. Let's come back over to the cement, where it's nice and pretty, the cement. Concrete, still same thing, I suppose. Get rid of that. There we go. Okay, is this set? No, I have these not necessarily set to anything. I want to go with the over 9,000. So in this one will be gears. And we're using we're outputting the check. So set this to gears. And this will be reading from the robo network. So it's going to be, I thought that green wire was connected to this machine. It almost looked like for a second, but it's going to be saying if we have too many gears, break them down. But then I also want to do if we have more than 1,000 gears. More than 1,000 gears. Just so that we're making sure we have some gears. But we have less than, let's do 1,000, 9,000. Less than 1,000 iron plates. Yeah, so if we have enough gears and we don't have enough iron plates, recycle them. If we have way too many of them, recycle them. Perfect, okay. So then this needs to be set to gears as well. Now does it count this in the network? I don't know if it does or not, but I don't think it does. Let's go with here's. You know what just hit me? Like I might need to, with this high production, some of these things might need to be ramped up a little bit. Let's see here. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to I have a better idea. I want to turn this essentially into this, where it has the potential for it to grow if we need it to be. And I suppose, I mean, trying to put belts in, I don't know if that's necessarily going to save space when I really could just copy and paste this whole thing. Yeah, I think I'll just go with that. That moment when you think you have a bright idea and then you realize that nope, that wasn't a good one to follow down. I just realized that these symbols look different. Was that on a patch recently, or has that always been like that? I'm gonna have to go back and look at footage because now I'm feels like that the Mandela effect. Like, has it always been like this the whole time it's playing Space Age? We will find out. Okay. This one should be set up. So let's give ourselves a little bit of space here, and we'll start it, say, right over here. Do that. Trying to think, like if I lay them like chunk bump 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 bump, like if I have to put in more gears, I want to do it that way. Here, maybe we'll do it like I'll start it up here, but then yeah, I think that'll be the play. We'll start it right. I'm probably thinking about this way too much. Yeah, so let's not think about it way too much. Start it there. Yeah, and that's nice how that actually could line up very easily that way too. So add it in. Let's craft a few of those. They have plenty of space to charge. This also is how I'm going to connect in the network stuff here. Logistics network contents. I suppose this probably doesn't have power to be bring it on over there. Let's I know I had crafted a few more. You know, better remember if I did that. Oh, and then I didn't leave myself space. Yeah, if I line it up right here, then I can just drag it across two of them and leave a little space in between to kind of have room to move through since I'm not playing with squeak through. Let's see here. Let's kind of watch this for a moment as it kind of powers up. Lightning is charging these things. Okay, yeah, it capped out. Okay, I suppose do I see them hanging around with anything else? Right, anything else super kind of stacking up? Guess I can't really tell at the moment. Maybe you just go throw down a mine and continue on. I like how this isn't in the network at the moment. Let's. I want to just take these over and put them in the accumulator assembler back at the other base. What am I looking for? This here. Okay. I suppose I want to kind of check this out again. Nope, that is the wrong one. Next, now night has finished. Go to 10-minute. Yeah, so here's where we get power back on. And so there's, if I go from this point to this point, really like and kind of compare as a proportion there to there, it looks like this is what 1, 2, 3.5 squares roughly, and then this is almost 2 squares. So yeah, it's about like 2/3. So we get another 50%. If we can get 50% more than what we have here, I feel like it will be pretty close being able to power at least what's going on over there. Another thing I noticed when I was editing the videos and uploading them recently was that I still need to do train fuel. Let's see where the accumulator's at over here. We're gonna take 1 stack back actually. The other thing I'm really curious about is how low the accumulators are getting over here, too. And you know what? I think I actually want to set up a quick circuit to tell me that. So to do this, we're gonna pause the video and think about how you would solve this before I jump into it. Pause now. I think what I'm going to do, though, is that I need a memory cell to track this, and then I'm going to only I'm going to like have it send a signal if it's lower than what's in there currently. So red, and we use R for resetting signal. If R doesn't equal 0, output anything, right? It's false when there are no inputs. I think so. We can always test it really quickly by going read pulse. Nope, yeah, something is off. Oh, far equals 0. Let's try this again real quick, make sure our memory cell is working. Boom, we got one in there. Perfect. Okay, now I also need to reset this bad boy. R equals 1. Off. Okay. So now this is coming in as the signal A. And we really only need it to go through... We need it to send the signal to this once if it's below there. So... what I think we need to do is... This might take some finagling. We'll see here. Because there's this concept that is how many ticks of delay a signal can be. And so, for instance, like the delay of the tick here is essentially 0 because it comes in right at the beginning of this. But when you send a signal from this yellow combinator to this blue one here, what comes out this end, it takes 1 tick to then get in here, but then for this to process it and get it to somewhere else, it takes a whole other tick. And so if you need both of these processes to happen in real time, they actually it takes 2 ticks before it gets to a third processor, in a sense. And so that mechanism is something we need to utilize to make sure that we don't send too many signals to the constant combinator. So if I'm struggling with this, I might just abandon it and just go back to what we're doing. But I think this should come together pretty easily, I think, here. So let's do... Actually, I'm really interested in this. So we can do an input on the green wire. We're going to be looking for A. Oh, and we need one of these. We'll do it like that. A. Here, let's do let's do C for charge. Okay. So, well, let's see here. If A is less than C. So A is what this reads when you hook it up to here, right? Let's go like this, green. So we have A coming at 100. A is less than C. Output A as an input count, right? So yeah, okay. So I think this is how this would work. Actually, so the other thing too is that this is constantly, the memory cell is basically constantly adding. Right? So yeah, let's just kind of just roll this and roll this for a second, do things, see if it works. Stick around a tiny bit, and if it doesn't, move on. And so what I want to do is output the A signal, but turn it into a C signal now. So we'll just do A times 1 equals, or output C. So and then that's going to come onto here. I suppose we need a C signal first. This is such a tricky problem, but this is also one of the, I love doing these problems. These logic problems are super fun to me. Okay. I think I need to put a C signal in here for a second first. Where push buttons are great. Okay, let's do I'm gonna do my trick here. Output as C times 1. Okay, this will pulse it onto here. Oh, but I probably want it to be 100 times 100. There we go. So this will put C in at 100. There we go. Here, let's disconnect that first, so we can see that this does get 100 stored in there, I think. Oh, and this needs to be the hand contents pulse, and I need to actually drop this. Okay, so C is in there at 100. Okay. So once this goes down and starts being used, we should see... Anyway, do I have the displays on me still? Well, what is this, A is greater than that. Is that how I do that? A? Always show an alt mode. A is greater than 0. How come I'm just seeing an A instead of like the number? That just... Wait, what? What is that? It turns off. Okay. Huh. I feel like I'm kind of doing something wrong here. Display panel. Is that what that's supposed to be? Each? Okay, I'm kind of not understanding those. We'll tinker with those a different time. So if A is less than C, output A. So that was happening. So now the key is going to be if this doesn't get caught into a cycle. I wonder if we also need to have one send the R signal as well. And then the C signal comes a second later. Maybe. Let's just hook this up and find out real quick. I suppose I have to wait for it to go down. Kind of interesting, like I feel like you should definitely be able to set the display of these things. Because I mean, like I feel like you could just set like numbers in a sense, you know, like if A equals this number, display this number. The accumulator charge really just not going down? Because this thing's full? If I take that off, how about now? Yep. Oh, yep. See, now C is skyrocketing. Yep. See, this is that's partially the tick problem. So now, curious too if I say yeah, so we're getting an A signal. Do an R signal as well. And so that in turn basically deleted everything. So then, I hate how this is all getting super warped. So here's where I think we can use the actual delay thing I was talking about. We'll do down to there. The one will be if C is greater than 0, output C. It'll just pass it along. Maybe that one needs to be on a different wire. I don't know for sure, but we'll try it. See, now this one should send the R signal, but the C signal should still come to here and then arrive a tick later. So let's disconnect that first. And do this again. Oh, no, and then it started just skyrocketing again. Maybe I need to have everything hooked up into it. Oh, yep, is it actually doing it now? I think it's doing it. So like, yeah, here we can actually watch both of them. Every time the A signal becomes lower than C, it stores it in the memory cell. So now we should be able to see it come back up. I'm very glad I succeeded in potentially making this work. Curious if I can also do if because it's always getting a C signal, or no, because it like doesn't get a C signal for a second. Or we could even do something like this to check. C equals 0. Yep, so C is equaling 0 for a second, and it's kind of linking there. Okay, look, so now A is going back up, and we can see that we got down to 20% charge. So now my brain is just thinking about how I can reset this and get it to work. Wait, so I wonder what happens if I did I'm going to set this to roll with me here. I'm going to set that to 100. And then I'm going to do if R equals 100. I think it just got reset there. And it did it again. I think if I take that part out, because I shouldn't need that anymore. And I hope this is making sense to people about the tick delay. You know, and I went into great detail explaining the memory cell in the previous one, but I always think of it as like a machine where you put a number in, it processes it, and you get a number out. Like, you know, you just put in a 5, and this thing's set to add 1. Like the arithmetic combinators, right? You could set it to add, or this is timesing 1, so you put in a 5 there, it times by 1, and then you get 5 out. And the machine processing it and putting it out is 1 tick of the game. And the game runs at 60 frames a second. So you get 60 of those ticks a second. And when the information comes into here, it processes both of these, and so we get the C of that we want to send down the lane. But then it also sends an R. Oh, I suppose with that. Yep. It sends an R where R equals 1, which is good because we want this to be at R equals 100 for the reset. And so an R comes down, deleting it, but then we also do a 1 tick delay of sending the other one down there with this, where it just comes in. If a C signal comes in and it's greater 0, we output the C, and that's how it ends up storing it in there. So now we can test our little reset button now. So I should be able to turn this on. Because there's an R, this should be outputting nothing. Because it only outputs when R equals 0, so everything else is doing nothing, and now if we turn it off, nothing? Here, let's, I suppose I can do this. Let's do A equals 100. And C equals 0. So when this thing gets back up to charge, it should work. So if we did, if A is less than... But yeah, what if I just did A is less than? Does it... No, yeah, it does mess everything up there for a second. Yeah, I think this one would work. As far as resetting the signal, but you have to wait for it to get back up to 100, so it doesn't instantly kind of read in the C. Yeah, I'm assuming some people have probably already left this episode, but you are still here. Thank you so much for hanging around. I love tinkering with these things and stuff, and so let's say we reset it now. So now when this gets back up to 100, it should reset. So, wait a second. Okay, now it's doing something super weird. Something seems broken. Yeah, that didn't work very well. Here, wait. So what if I do a... I think I just need to add in another one where if... it just sends in the C signal, or a C signal of 100 if it is. I feel like I'm making this much more complicated than it needs to be. That's one thing I don't like about my skill level of dealing with these circuits. Like I know enough to be dangerous in a sense, right? Like let's do a C of 100. Wait, shouldn't I be able to just like say you know, reset? What if I do on the red? Say like I just left that on, does it really mess with it? Oh, actually. That. Oh, but then... So I think it would work. Wait, why is this getting an R? Oh, because there's... are coming through there. Right? Oh, those are the input signals. So this is outputting nothing. Yeah, and we're not tracking anything as long as this is on. So that's almost a better reset. To just hit that button. Actually. So yeah, right here is kind of where this green wire, that's the one we really want to be looking at. I'm going to do this. That's the one we really want to be looking at. It shows the current charge and the lowest we've ever hit. And this should go to, oh no. But now I should be able to turn this on and off. Now I'll reset it. Okay, so this is the circuit we got there. You have a memory cell, R equals 0, outputting anything. We have a cell, or we have a combinator that's checking if A is less than C, we want it to output A. Then we are turning the A signal into C, the charge signal we want to be recording, and we're sending a reset signal along at the same time we do that change. We delay the C signal by 1. If C is over 0, we output C, so it just gets processed through this machine. Like, both of these papers come out of this machine, and this one just goes into here, and this one goes into there at that same time. So it resets it, and then the signal comes down here, goes into it, and the loop continues. Here we have it, so it's C set to 100, so we can just force in a new C signal, which actually works pretty well to reset it. So, ta-da! Now I'm kind of bummed I can't get this to work. That would be the next best thing. Being able to get a display to show numbers from these combinators. So I'm thinking we're actually going to Google that, because that actually is frustrating not knowing that. But so now, yeah, I should be able to go back and check this out. And I actually should be able to leave these things going forever and be able to test this stuff. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Looking forward to actually going back to the other side and doing things. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it, and take care.